In moments, we'll be joined by Rob Thomson once again. Phillies Fantastic Auction, lunch and batting practice with the Phillies manager. Now's your chance. You and 5 of your closest friends can meet and have lunch with Phillies manager Rob Thomson. After lunch is concluded, you and your guests will be taken on a behind-the-scenes VIP tour of Citizens Bank Park. Then you'll get to watch batting practice from a VIP area behind home plate. Going to be awesome for somebody to get that opportunity. And we were talking about it earlier. Just the stories that Rob Thomson has. You can ask him about the current team, ask him about his career. Going to be awesome, John, to check that one out.
And what an awesome dude. You know, Rob Thomson is just a good, low-key fella that everyone seems to really gravitate toward this the clubhouse. They love him for a reason.
Yeah, he is just a guy, and someone with a ton of experience, and someone who's like I said before. I mean, he's got so many stories and so much to give someone who happens to bid on this thing and win it. You're going to get a heck of a day out of it because it's pretty special.
Yeah, so make sure you're bidding for the Phillies Fantastic Auction. Chance to have lunch and watch batting practice with Phillies manager Rob Thomson. And the Phillies manager joins us now. Rob, thanks so much for hopping on this morning.
Thanks for having me. Geez, Ruben, you're talking me up here. I hope I don't let anybody down.
Checks in the mail. Checks in the mail, I hope.
Well, Rob, thanks again so much for joining us this morning. And Rob, let's just start here. Rough loss last night, but this team playing so well over the last couple weeks. After that series against New York, first game in Chicago, what in your mind has led to the turnaround where the team has played so well in recent weeks?
Well, I think we're playing pretty well in all phases. You know, we're getting really good starting pitching. I think the bullpen's starting to come around a little bit. Offensively, we've been fairly consistent, and we're playing really good defense. So when you have that type of package, I think it's just, and with the talent that we have, it's just, it's a recipe for success.
Rob, before the season, Bryce said no more daycare and, another year more mature for everyone. How has the team's identity evolved from last year to this year?
Well, I say it every year, but I think there's a little bit more focus this year on getting this thing done and getting to the end and getting over the finish line because, a lot of our guys have sour taste in their mouths from the last couple of years, but it's true what Bryce said. The Bohms and Stotts and Marshes of the world, they're now you can call them experienced players, and they're acting like it. Stott's doing a great job in the leadoff spot. Bohm is now, he's got his average up over 250, which is really good considering how he started.
I'll say.
And the same thing with Marsh. He's starting to swing the bat. He struck out in a pinch hit role last night. He struck out twice, but coming off the bench. But he's starting to swing the bat too. I think they're still having fun, but there's a focus there and there's a seriousness there that I haven't seen in the last couple of years.
There's a lot of talk on the outside about Bryce and his body language this year. I played in locker rooms where the sentiment was, hey, we're adult men. You can't really tell us how to be. You can tell us what to do, but not how to be. I wonder how challenging is it to monitor something like body language in another adult human being who's a professional athlete. I can't imagine how hard that must be, Rob.
Yeah, it's difficult, and I feel at times bad for Hart because he puts a lot of pressure on himself, and he expects so much out of himself, and he wants to lead this team and this organization and the city to a world championship, and so he's very hard on himself, and that's just who he is. And he's, I know everybody's talking about his body language this year, but it's been like that since he's been here and since he's been in the big leagues. Really, when he struggles, it wears on him, and because he cares so much, and that's really all it is.
Phillies manager Rob Thomson joining us now. Phillies Fantastic Auction, your chance to have lunch with and watch batting practice with Rob Thomson, you and 5 of your friends. Also get a VIP tour of Citizens Bank Park. Bidding ends Sunday, May 18th at 3 p.m. And Rob, another guy right now who we're watching and is just playing some really good baseball is Kyle Schwarber. He's so locked in. How much fun is it for you as a manager to see when a player like Schwarber right now is going the way he's going?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, because he creates a lot of runs, whether he gets on base and he slugs, and but the evolution of Kyle is really fascinating to me because you don't see it a whole lot. This is a slugger, pure slugger that has turned himself into a really dangerous hitter and pure hitter, really. And I think just last year, after the 23 season, going into 24, he had decided to change his approach a little bit and really concentrate on using the left field side of the diamond to keep him on the baseball a little bit longer. And so it's helped him against left-handed pitching. And right now he's in the zone, and he's been that way all year, where he's just taking what they give him. If they want to nibble, if they want to pitch around him, he'll take his walks. He's not going to get out of the zone. And if they want to pitch to him and they make a mistake, he's going to punish them. So he's really in a good spot now. And I was worried about how he would react moving from the leadoff spot to the cleanup spot, or hitting behind Harp anyway. But he's really taken to it, and he's having a huge year. He's going to end up with a ton of RBIs.
Hey, I was just wondering, more importantly, what about the Maple Leafs? Are you pretty fired up about them right now because they're back to 2-2?
I know. I'm a little bit nervous, but that's the whole fan base, because they're a very passionate fan base, and it's been, I don't know, 50 years since they won a Stanley Cup, so they want it as bad as anything, and they've had recent history is they get knocked out early in the playoffs, so there's a lot of nervous people out there.
Hey, Rob, April 19th, I think it was, you floated the idea that Jordan Romano might be tipping something, and then it was 8 days later or so, the national TV guys mentioned the same thing, and now he looks really happy and he looks really good. What's different?
Well, and you never know whether you think you've got something. When a guy's tipping his pitch, you think you've got something. You don't really know because you look at a lot of different things. But I think he's just pitching better. He's got his velocity back up, and we used him a lot early, and that was my fault for doing that. He didn't pitch much last year, and I probably overworked him early, and he lost the plate a little bit. He lost his velocity, and so we gave him some rest. And now he's got the velocity back. He's attacking hitters. He's really confident. The slider is really good. So he's in a better place. So whether it was tipping or just the fact that he just needed some rest and was being overworked early, I don't know. But I just like where he's at right now.
Yeah, Taijuan Walker, I had outstanding. Did you see different stuff out of him when he came out of the bullpen? And is it likely that he'll get a more prominent role in the bullpen?
Yeah, in Tampa, the stuff really played up. He gave us the 3 innings and struck out 7. It really played up, and it was really intriguing to me. And it makes you dream a little bit. That maybe this guy can be at the back end of your bullpen and really pitch in some high leverage situations, because the split really got better. The slider was good. It was commanding, and he was touching 94, 95. Right now, because we're still thinking about going to a 6-man at some point just to give our starters some rest. We want to try to maintain that length, but at the same time, I'd really like to see him in a 1-inning role and see if that stuff plays up even a little bit more.
Phillies manager Rob Thomson joining us now. And Rob, kind of an up and down start to the season for Aaron Nola. And I'm sure, the numbers a lot different when Rafael Marchand is behind the plate compared to JT Realmuto. I'm sure you guys have looked into that quite a bit. But what goes into deciding which catcher pitches which pitcher?
It's really about JT's rest is what it comes down to. And, Marchand's probably going to catch Nola again on Wednesday. And now we've got some weather here, so I'm not sure when we're playing. But it's really about JT. And I have full confidence in Marchand. And Aaron's struggles have nothing to do with Marchand. Marchand's a really smart, really intelligent young man that does his homework. He works very closely with JT and the pitching coaches. It has nothing to do with his setup or how he catches the ball. I think that Noel's, just off to a little bit of a slow start, and he's going to get it going. But it really has nothing to do with Rafael.
So is that backup catcher position an ongoing evaluation? Is at what point is Garrett Stubbs an option who's compared to Rafael Marchand as a real option to be in the majors?
We have full confidence in Marchand. He's a really good player, as well as Garrett Stubbs is too. So it's a good problem to have to have some catching depth, but that backup catcher role is a very difficult role. It's like being a utility player. Same thing. You don't get to play a lot. You have to do a lot of extra work to keep your timing and your swing. And he ends up being a switch hitter, so he has to do double work. But it's a difficult role, and we've had no conversations about moving Marchand at all. He's a good player, and he's going to show it at some point.
And Rob, one more for you. You look at your starting rotation right now. Obviously, a major strength on this team. How much easier does it make your job knowing that pretty much every night you're going to get length and a good outing out of your starter?
Yeah, it makes it super easy. We're very fortunate here to have really 6 good starters, because you got to put Taiwan into that mix too. We've got 4 of them, including Taiwan, that have an ERA under 3. So, it's a great problem to have. It makes my job a lot easier, because you're really you don't tax your bullpen as much. So it's good, and it makes the bullpen that much better.
Rob Thomson, Phillies manager. Phillies fantastic auction, chance to bid on, have lunch and watch batting practice with the Phillies manager. And Rob, just one last one for you. How much do you enjoy this experience of kind of meeting up with the fans and getting to participate in an event like this?
I love it. The one thing about the Phillies organization is that, it's all about the greater good. And they raise so much money for different organizations. And last year, we did the same thing last year with the having lunch and the tour of the ballpark and watching batting practice. And we had the EB trucking company. We had 6 guys from the company come in, and we just had a ball. We just sat there and ate lunch and took our time, and we did it at the ballpark here in our food room, and our chef cooked for us, and we just had a good time with it. And it was great to get to know them. I mean, we all know how passionate our fan base is, and they just love it, and great questions and great conversation. I really enjoy it. I really do.
Well, Rob, thanks so much for joining us this morning, and good luck tonight. Go get him.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Rob.
Rob.
Take it easy. Rob Thomson, Phillies manager. Your chance to have lunch with Rob, watch batting practice with him. Phillies fantastic auction. You, 5 of your friends, can do that with Rob Thomson after lunch is concluded. You and your guests will be taken on a behind-the-scenes VIP tour of Citizens Bank Park, concluding with a stop on the field to watch batting practice.